does need a consensus, does it not?
I think it needs tentative assumptions, but we should remember what Justice Holmes said in one of his famous dissents, that fighting faiths have repeatedly been seen to be false. We should recognize that. Yes, we need tentative assumptions in order to continue with our lives, but we also ought to be open to a healthy society would not only tolerate but encourage challenge. That's what happens in the sciences. In the sciences where the world is keeping you honest, and you can't be dishonest fundamentally, not only is challenge tolerated, but it's stimulated. If a student comes along with a new idea that threatens established beliefs, you don't kick them out of your office. You pay attention, you're struck.
But in politics?
Well, political life is preserving privilege and power, but that's not a value that should be protected. That's a property that should be overcome. I'm not saying question everything always. That's hopeless. You know, like I walk out the door, I don't think the floor is going to collapse. Of course, you accept things. You have faith, you have beliefs, and so on, and you operate on the basis of them. But you should, if honest, recognize that they are subject to challenge, and that if the past is any guide, they're probably wrong, because beliefs have generally been wrong in the past. Also, we just understand more. We understand more about ourselves as history continues. It's hard to look at the 20th century and be an optimist, but still, there's some moral progress in history. Now, take, say, slavery. It wasn't very long ago that slavery was considered moral, not just that we want to do it. The slave owners didn't normally say, look, nice for me, so I'll do it. They offered a moral basis for slavery. Nobody does that anymore. That's an improvement. Just in our own lifetimes this has happened. Take the issues raised by the feminist movement.
Women do have equal rights.
These were things that many people simply did not see 30 years ago. Now, the problems are still there, at least we see them. That's greater insight into our own nature. It's insight, it's discovery of forms of repression and authority that we know we do not accept as moral human beings and that we ought to try to overcome. And I think you can sense such progress. At the same time, you also have decline. I mean, Nazi Germany and Stalinist Russia.
The genocide of this century, the Holocaust, all
indescribable. So that's why I say it's hard to look at the 20th century and say that you're an optimist.
What about the 21st century?
Well, I don't think we're going to get far into the 21st century unless these problems are overcome, because the problems are no longer localized. I mean, Hitler's genocide was probably the worst moment in human history, but it was still, in a sense, localized. It was a huge massacre, but it was bounded. The problems we're now facing are not going to be bounded. A nuclear war, for example, if there's a superpower confrontation, or even a confrontation among lesser nuclear powers, that's not going to be bounded in any sense that wars were in the past.
Or if we all unplug the environment.
Or if we do not, if we continue to act on the assumption that the only thing that basically matters is personal greed and personal gain, the commons will be destroyed. We didn't have to worry about that too much in the past. It was happening. But now it is clear that they're going to be destroyed. Other human values have to be expressed if we hope if future generations are going to even be able to survive.
From Boston, this has been a conversation with Noam Chomsky. I'm Bill Moyers.